All right, today we're jumping into something pretty wild, blitzscaling. This is that super controversial, lightning fast strategy for growth made famous by Reid Hoffman. It's a high stakes, high reward game. So yeah, you're going to want to strap in for this one.
You ever wonder about that? You look at a company like Amazon or Google, and it feels like one day they just appeared and took over the entire world. How does that happen? Well, there's often a secret sauce, a really aggressive strategy that's designed for a very specific type of fight. So let's get right into it. What exactly is blitzscaling? The name itself sounds pretty intense, right? And, well, that's for a very good reason. It's all about one thing: speed. At its heart, blitzscaling is a very conscious choice. You're making the decision to grow at a pace that looks from the outside almost reckless. You're not trying to build this perfectly oiled, efficient machine. Nope. You're building a rocket ship, and you're totally okay with the fact that some bolts are going to rattle on the way up.
And here is the absolute key to understanding this whole thing. In a lot of today's digital markets, the first one to get huge, the first to achieve that massive scale, often becomes the permanent winner. So speed isn't just a nice to have, it's the entire game plan. The whole point is to get so big, so fast, that you become the default choice before your rivals even know what hit him.
This quote really captures the mindset you have to have. You can't sit around waiting for all the data to come in. You just can't. Blitzscaling means you have to get comfortable with chaos. You have to make huge, bold moves right now. Because in this game, waiting is the single biggest risk you can take. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, this sounds like the exact opposite of everything I ever learned in business school. And you know what? You'd be absolutely right. So let's actually compare it to the traditional way of growing a company. Take a look at this, because the contrast is just so stark. On the left, you've got your classic scaling. It's all about steady, sustainable growth. You're focusing on being efficient, you're trying to improve your profit margins, you're building systems that are stable and predictable. But then you look to the right, and blitz scaling just rips that playbook to shreds. It's hypergrowth, not sustainability. It's raw speed over efficiency. And who cares about margins right now? It's all about grabbing market share. You're not building stable systems, you're literally embracing the chaos to move faster than everyone else. Okay, so if you're brave enough, or maybe crazy enough to embrace all that chaos, how do you actually do it? Let's take a look at the playbook. First things first, you have to innovate. You absolutely must have a product that people genuinely want and need. That's called product market fit, and it's totally non-negotiable. But once you have that, you hit the big red button. You start burning through cash, hiring people, expanding everywhere, and grabbing customers at any cost. And finally, you shift into domination mode, building a whole ecosystem around you that basically locks in your lead. Now, to pull off a playbook that chaotic, well, it takes a very special kind of person at the helm. This isn't about being in control, it's about managing chaos. You have to be able to make massive decisions with barely any information, delegate constantly, and, this is a big one, be okay with the mistakes that are definitely going to happen when you're moving at the speed of light. It really is about letting the small fires burn so you can focus on winning the war. And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. We've seen it play out with some of the biggest names out there. Think about it. Airbnb scaled its global network before regulators even had a chance to react. Netflix just burned billions on content to own streaming. And LinkedIn built a professional network so huge it became completely indispensable. They all chose speed, and it's why they won. But, and this is a really, really big but, we have to be crystal clear about something. This is a massive gamble. For every one success story you hear about, there are countless companies that tried this and crashed and burned. This strategy is incredibly powerful, but the risks are just enormous. The potential reward, of course, is the ultimate prize in business: total, complete market dominance. You become the giant, the standard, the company that defines the entire industry for a generation to come. But, and you knew there was a but coming, the path to get there is an absolute minefield. Moving this fast means you are constantly living right on the edge of a cliff. Your company culture can turn toxic, leading to massive employee burnout. Your operations can just crack under the pressure, causing huge failures. You could literally run out of money because you're spending it so fast. And in that rush to grow, you might even tick off the very customers you're trying to win over if your product or your service just can't keep up. So all of this brings us to the final and most important question. Blitzscaling is not a one-size-fits-all strategy. Not even close.
It's a very specific weapon for a very specific kind of war. Here's the bottom line. You only blitzscale when you're in what's called a winner-take-all market. That's an industry where one company is destined to capture almost all of the value. In those moments, it's a bet. It's a bet that if you don't go for it, somebody else will, and they'll leave you in the dust. In those rare situations, playing it safe is actually the riskiest thing you can possibly do.
And that's really the question this whole strategy forces every ambitious entrepreneur to ask themselves. It's a choice between the high probability of a small win and the tiny probability of a massive one. So which one would you choose?